Let you know, keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Hi, Nate.
Garrett. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, man?
Nate, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Ready for another show?
Yep. Yeah, I went to a wedding back in Kearney over the weekend. That was a fun time.
How was it?
Yeah.
Was it a super spreader event?
Of course it was. Of course. We were all there having fun, so it's basically a crime against humanity that we gathered together as friends and family, you know?
You know, it is too bad. It looks like the vaccine is failing. It would be really great to have a good vaccine on this. Just for the people that need to be done, could be done with it. I know a friend recently, I went to a wedding, and he got a text message following up basically saying like, hey, everybody, like a group message saying, hey, everybody, just let you know, there's been like 26 positive tests from people that went to our wedding. And his wife wasn't feeling the best, so she went and got tested, and she was positive.
Oh, really? So that was a super spreader.
Yeah. So there is, I mean, you hear that story, this is kind of early on before we knew, like, how deadly this was just to old people and not deadly it is to younger people. But there is that story about the church choir. Did you see that? Where these people gathered in church and sang, and, like, of the 48 of them, like 30 something got COVID.
Okay.
Where almost everybody that went got COVID. It's like really early on. So there definitely is something.
But you know, it's kind of what we said from the beginning that COVID is a virus that's going to be here basically forever.
Forever. And end of our time. We're not outliving
Not getting together and staying in your basement. All it will do is potentially delay until you get it. Okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't really do you any good. It's better to go get it and have natural immunity, especially if you're young and healthy.
You know what? Especially if they're telling us about the Delta virus. They're saying, no, the Delta variant is more deadly. Well, we know that natural immunity works better than the vaccine anyway.
Yep.
So the people that got this early on were better off.
Right.
If all these people that were not immunocompromised got this early, because we know the vaccine. Now, do you want play the vaccine video? Then we'll keep you talking.
The Dr. Fauci effectiveness one?
Yeah.
Okay. But right before I pull it up, I want to make the same point you started making, which is, I wish this was a good vaccine that
it would be great.
Didn't have many problems and was a quote-unquote perfect vaccine, and that would be great. It doesn't look like that's how it is, though. And as the more time goes by, it looks worse and worse to me. And I feel smarter and smarter for not getting the fucking
And they're blaming the wrong people, of course.
Yeah,
and
that's
maybe
scary.
nobody's to blame. The only people that should be blamed are the people lying to us and trying to hide the info from us. If this is what this is, and we know it, okay. If you're in the target categories, take it. Don't force people to take it.
Exactly. Don't force people to take it. Don't coerce people.
CCD says you see they're vaccinating zoo animals the same vaccine.
Yeah.
We got something on that too. Which
What's up, DZD?
Again, if this was a traditional vaccine, I could maybe see the argument. But that's one way we know COVID's not going away, because it's going to go from animal back to human.
Right, that's another thing. Yeah,
versa.
you can't isolate this by staying in your house.
We can't go around vaccinating everyone. And that's what the media ignored when they were kind of making fun of, who was it, Sweden, that basically said, it's here, there's nothing we can do about it. Do your best to be healthy. If you're compromised, stay home. And they act like, look how much worse Sweden's doing than everybody else. You don't hear that anymore, because everyone else is catching up. In fact, for some people, it's even worse right now.
So maybe they put it off for a little while, but they still are all going to get
it. These idiots taking a skunk vaccine. You guys are taking skunk vaccine.
Yeah. There you go. That's great. You're taking a skunk vaccine? That's really funny, man. Okay, so this is a 2-minute video, and we got to kind of watch the whole thing.
Yeah. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, and it's kind of self-explanatory what it's saying.
You'll see the trend here soon.
So let's watch this.
So now we have 2 vaccines that are really quite effective. The mRNA vaccine, highly effective, extraordinarily efficacious, 94 to 95% for mild to moderate disease, and virtually 100% efficacious, because the real-world effectiveness is even more impressive than the results of the clinical trial.
Safe and effective.
Awesome.
Yeah, good. Glad to see this. A 100% effective. Wow. $99%. That's still very good.
Yeah, almost perfect.
97%. Well, 85%. I mean, that's still really good, Garrett. Hang on, 20% after 6 months. I mean, holy shit! Which is why they're like, well, you guys got to get a booster.
They're trying to gaslight everyone and memory hole everybody, because when something happens, it's that whole circular argument. When something happens, they'll come up and they'll say, "Yeah, of course, we've told you since the beginning. This isn't stop you from getting it.
We knew that.
It just keeps you from getting hospitalized or dead. At least you're not dead, right? You're not hooked up to a trach, right? You're not dead." And then you say, well, why do I have to get it then? Well, you have to get it to protect Colin Powell. Wait a minute. You're just going to tell me that it doesn't stop me from getting this. And there's that big, weird circular argument. Well, it's a reason that it's not working is people aren't getting it.
Right. And you're totally right. They'll never admit that they were wrong or lied at the 4 months, when they said it was 100% effective. Now they'll just say, we always knew it would drop in efficacy.
The whole point is just to make sure that hospitals don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
As they're going to say.
And they say, well, you won't need booster shots. We think it's just 2 jabs and then you're good to go.
So
and now it's like, well, we always knew there'd be boosters forever.
Twitter deleted somebody's account for conspiracies and medical misinformation when they said, just watch, you're going to need a booster for this. And Twitter deleted the account.
Yep.
So now what? Now do they go back and delete everyone's account that said you only needed 2 shots?
I wish they would.
Restore that?
I wish
they would. What they're saying? The CDC's saying, like, we think you're only going to need 3. They're still going with that lie. Because I think they know it looks terrible.
I'd like to find someone to bet. I should just find some liberal to bet with them, because they'll believe whatever's said right now. There's
no way people are going to be, like, if the adults right now are 75% vaccinated, in a year from now, that's going to be under 50%. 2 years from now, it's going to be under 25%.
People will stop getting it, you mean,
Absolutely.
The boosters. Because it's such a lie. Why the fuck would they keep doing it?
So many people got this just because they thought, okay, I'm going to get this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to stay home. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to miss weddings anymore. This is it. And then they feel like they got bait and switched. And now they're thinking, more? You're telling me I was sitting at home sick as hell for 48 hours, and you want me to do more? It's not happening.
Right. And that's not even to mention all the adverse reactions, which are very serious, if you ask me.
And there's only so many
common
liberal parents that are going to offer their kids up as internet points.
Right.
Eventually, when they see their kid get hurt from this, or even have a bad reaction, if they're just sick for a day or two, they're thinking, geez, again, 6 months later, got to do this again and again.
And
by the way, you're not going to go to the hospital anyway from COVID.
And even to this day, when natural immunity is brought up to Dr. Fauci, the science is in that natural immunity is better in like every single metric. But what Dr. Fauci will say, we don't know about the durability of natural immunity. Maybe it goes away in 2 months. Although it's almost for sure much longer than the vaccine, because as we've seen, the vaccine lasts about 6 months. So congratulations,
Yeah, natural immunity is king on this. And if the Delta variant is so much more dangerous, we should be jealous of the people that got this.
Yeah, the natural immunity will be far better for the variants, unless this is the vaccine causing the variants nightmare scenario where the unvaccinated start dying.
The whole Merck's.
Merrick's disease chicken we've talked about before. Okay, but let me finish the last 30 seconds of this.
Yeah.
Another shot. We've got to make sure we clarify that with people. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's effective. We know it's highly effective. Highly effective. Come on, man.
And to go right with it, we got to show this. This just happened on the 17th, I think. 16th, October 16th. FDA delays Moderna vaccine for teens until the heart condition is studied. But that's strange, Garrett. Isn't this a extremely well-studied vaccine?
Man, if you Google Moderna, I'm pretty sure this doesn't even come up on the first page of news. I didn't even hear about this until you showed me it just a little bit ago.
Yeah, see, we covered in the last show that the Sweden, Finland, and these Nordic Scandinavian countries all delayed Moderna because of the heart issues that young people are having. And now our country has done it too. And, to your point, I'll bet you most Democrats haven't heard this.
No, for sure.
This is big news that we halted this,
No, nobody's reporting it.
And it's not just, it's only Moderna that's been halted, but even this article brings up the Pfizer. Like, I think they're going to halt Pfizer too, I don't know where it says that. The Pfizer vaccine is approved for emergency use for kids. Well, whatever. As of right now, the Moderna shot is off limits to teenagers.
We showed it last show, but those 2 kids that got the COVID vaccine, the young kids, instead of the flu shot, that's only a case of 2, but both kids have heart issues now, and we're in the hospital for it. That's saying someone's 2 out of 2. And like I said, they're going to say, well, it's an adult condition. Yeah, but I'm 6'2", 230, and they're giving me the same dose as somebody that's 90-pound female. And it's a blanket. Everybody gets this. Doesn't matter. We're not going to change the dosage based off weight or sex or any of that. And so if that mattered, why is a 90-pound female getting the same amount of dose I am?
Right. And when these vaccines first started rolling out, and I said things like, we don't know the long-term effects of this. We don't know the side effects of these fucking vaccines. If I would have said, maybe they'll cause heart problems. You know how many liberals would have told me I'm anti-vax and anti-science?
Oh, they still would.
They still do now, even though it's doing it.
Because now they're going to say, well, it's still a less of a chance. If you don't get the vaccine, you're going to get COVID, and you have a higher chance of getting blood clots. Don't you know that?
Which I think is a lie. I think that's just a
whatever.
lie. I don't believe that. You know what I mean? I think bullshit to that. And I also think that the number of adverse reactions from the vaccines are vastly underreported.
And, we talked about how media is going to try to memory hold this. They're already doing that with some other stuff too. Now we're seeing giant inflation. And this is something that people that understood the economy have been saying forever. You can't print 30% now probably of money in existence in less than 12 months. And you can't pay people to sit at home. So now we're seeing inflation going up. And instead of them, first it said it's transitory, don't worry, it's transitory. And then it started turning into, well, this is actually good because now you could go and leverage this against your employer and you could get a raise. And this is better for everybody.
Yeah.
Look, the $15 minimum wage we all wanted, we're past that. $15 is actually worse.
That's nothing. Now you can get $30.
So now they're finally admitting it's not so transitory, but they're trying to tell us it's good for us.
It's better, yeah.
We're starting to see the same thing already with supply chains. We have supply chains that, because you can't just not produce stuff and just print money. We talked about that. You could print money all day long, but if the supply chain gets messed up, that's real world. And we're going to start seeing that. And we're going to see it very rapidly.
I've got some articles about
pretty soon, they're going to start telling us how it's good. They're going to start saying how, well, did you really need that Twinkie anyway? Just how they did when we got put on house arrest. They acted like, well, everyone's overworked and everything anyway, and people get more family time. This is better. And employees are finding out that they get to work from home and that their job is more essential. They're trying to act like this horrible shit that's coming down the pipeline is good.
Yeah. It's shameful. They are shameless, and that's very shameful.
Says, why don't they make a COVID vaccine like a normal one, not this new kind? Same reason they don't have the cold, unfortunately. It just mutates way too fast.
Oh, coronaviruses mutate way too fast? That's why they can't do the attenuated. I didn't know that.
I mean, even with the flu, you look at the flu, how that goes, and even that is, because they're using like last year's strain and stuff, and they're like admit to be like 20 to 40% supposedly effective. And with cold, it's even harder.
Yeah. That's a good question, though, because I guess I'm wondering the same thing.
It's too bad it wasn't closer to something like polio.
Yeah, it's too bad the vaccine's not super great like it's supposed to be.
Which even makes it more obvious that this was made in a lab.
Right. All that is so suspicious, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then we see stuff like, supposedly we still don't know, was that Southwest thing due to people not showing up or not? I'm guessing no now, because things are kind of back to normal.
Oh, yeah, the Southwest Airlines strike thing? Yeah. Did we find out?
I'm guessing no, because things are back to normal now. And it's not like nothing's been solved. They still need to get vaccinated. They still have those hard deadline dates and stuff. And things are back to normal. So,
well, since you brought up the supply chain and stuff like that, I want to show this video, and then I want to show this Jen Psaki. Oh, wait, let me make sure I've got it ready. Dang it. I had it ready. She gets asked about, here it is. Okay. So let me play the supply chain video. Here we go.
What is sitting in all these containers behind us?
Everything.
Longshoremen telling me some of these containers have been sitting here for 6 months, with a shortage of truck drivers to get the goods on the highway and into stores. It's not just making things harder to find, it's making them more expensive.
Today, we face an economy that's in transition. And as part of that transition, we are seeing high prices for some of the things that people have to buy. But the reality is that the only way we're going to get to a place where we work through this transition is if everyone in America and everyone around the world gets vaccinated. That's why the president continues to be focused on the idea that we get everyone who can vaccinated in this country.
Oh, so the extreme supply chain problems, that's because I'm not vaccinated.
Something else they could blame on the unvaccinated.
Yeah. And dude, look how many people have gotten vaccinated. Shitload.
Yeah, 75% of adults.
Guess what?
That's a high number.
That's about all they're going to get. The rest of us are pretty dug in. But that doesn't stop them from being like, well, the only solution is that all these people who will not be getting vaccinated get vaccinated.
That number's going to go down. And they won't report it as that. But that number, if they start rolling out boosters every 5 months, that number is going to fall 15% because there's that many people not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's just like the
Right.
whole thing when the hurricane was coming and they asked hurricane preparedness, number one thing was like get vaccinated.
Oh yeah, come on.
Play the Jen Psaki thing because this is
Okay,
so
it's great.
common of government, like a lifetime government person. And I hate to say, but liberals that don't understand how the economy works.
And also will lie through their teeth and just
I don't
say,
think she's lying. I
"Oh,
think
you're
she's
starving? That's good."
She's this ignorant on how supply and demand works.
You might be right. All right, here we go.
Inflation is skyrocketing, as I don't need to tell you. The prices for home heating costs, cars, groceries, furniture, rent, gasoline are hitting Americans right in the wallet. The White House response has been generally to say, hey, inflation shows that we're coming out of the recession.
Oh, but wait, it's like Miguel said, everyone should just get vaccinated. That'll solve every problem there is.
Do you remember the tweet around Memorial Day? They're saying like, everyone enjoy, no, it was Labor Day. Everyone enjoy Labor Day. And remember, and they basically like priced out like a hot dog and a soda and other stuff. And basically saying, you're saving 12 cents on your picnic this year compared to last year when
You're welcome.
Trump was in office.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's like, you're welcome, by the way.
And what a lie that was, too.
Oh, obviously. It's an obvious lie. But
Jesus.
that aged like milk. I mean, if you
Oh,
do that
yeah.
right now,
Yeah, what's a hot dog now?
it's double, I'm sure,
Yeah.
for
so it's
that picnic.
I'm sure you're
Good
right.
sign. President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, et cetera, are high-class problems. Now, I get the larger point that when we're talking about economics,
You want to pause
we're
that?
coming out of a recession.
Sure.
So let's say you bring home $2,000 a month and you're paying $1,000 a month for your apartment. You want $1,500. That leaves you with $500 for food and gas. And that price of food or gas goes up. That's obviously eats into that $500, right?
Yep.
But let's say you make $20,000 a month and you live in a really big house and you pay $10,000 in mortgage. So you have $10,000 left over. Do you think you notice when food and gas prices go up? Who notices that more? Somebody that brings home $2,000 or someone that brings home $20,000?
Good point. Yeah,
It's
the
a
person
low-
with $2,000 notices
It's a low class problem.
Absolutely.
It's not a high class problem.
When I first saw that guy's tweet, I didn't even know what he meant by it's a
That's what I'm
high class
saying.
problem.
So the high class, it hurts because a lot of people in the high class ideally have high savings accounts. And it basically, if you have $2 million in a savings account, that $2 million now isn't as worth as much as $2 million was last year. But the reality is that they have that in investments that are going up. It's something like 90% of stocks are owned by the top 10% of stock owners. So the people that have that big money, they have their money in stocks and everything, which are overinflated even more than inflation. So it's not a high class problem. It's the exact opposite. It's people that are trying to get by that have no savings.
Of course. You know, like the price
can
of
try
food
saying
going
debt.
up. How could you say, that's really just a problem for the rich? Bullshit.
And
That's a
they're
problem
gonna
for
try
poor people. They're
saying
going to
low
miss
class.
meals.
When you're making $2,000 a month, they're going to say to you, yeah, but Nate, your credit card debt, that's $3,000. That's now not as worth as much.
Oh,
But it
thank
doesn't
you.
matter because you're going to be in more debt every month. Where the higher class, they're $500,000 in debt for their business loan or for their house loan that they don't pay right now anyway because they're thinking, what's 2% interest? Now that $500,000 debt they have isn't really $500,000. It's not. It's less.
Right.
So once again, that helps the high class. This is a low class problem, not a high class
Right.
problem.
This affects the poor.
Way more than the
Of
rich.
course. It's so weird to even hear that guy say that because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Just ask any poor person who has to be budgeting. They're going,
It's-
oh shit.
It's the same reason why a president, who was that? There's this president that says, I don't know, bananas are like $5 a piece. It's that the rich people don't know what food
Yeah.
costs because they don't give a shit. Even if they shop for themselves, they're not looking at
No, they don't care.
price tags.
No. That's funny. It's an Arrested Development joke, too, where she says, how much could a banana cost? $10?
Yes. But the president said something like that about a hot dog. It's like a $15 hot dog. I'm acting like, geez, people are paying $15 a hot dog. It's back when hot dogs were a quarter.
Right. Okay, let's let her answer.
Yeah.
But doesn't it seem tone deaf to say that rising prices and empty grocery store shelves are high-class problems?
Yeah,
Isn't
it
that
is
a bit
tone deaf.
dismissive?
Yep.
Well, that's not exactly what the tweet said, nor the retweet of the original tweet, which is what we're talking about here. It is true, though, Jake, and economists will tell you this, and I know you've interviewed some of them as well, that the fact is the unemployment rate is about half what it was a year ago. So a year ago, people were in their homes. 10% of people were unemployed. Gas prices were low because nobody was driving. People weren't buying goods because they didn't have jobs. Now more people have jobs. More people are buying goods. That's increasing the demand. That's a good thing. At the same time, we also know that the supply is low because we're coming out of the pandemic and because a bunch of manufacturing sectors across the world have shut down because ports haven't been functioning as they should be. These are all things we're working through. What people should know is that inflation is going to come down next year. Economists have said that. They're all projecting that. But we're working to attack these cost issues that are impacting the American people.
Dude, when they're printing money hand over fist, how on earth is inflation supposed to go down?
And they've been wrong. They've been saying that for forever. They've been saying that this is transitory. We only expect an X amount rise. And they've missed dramatically.
Oh, it's been massively.
Did you see what she did there? She tried to act like there's just two sides of this equation, the supply and the demand.
Right.
And she tried to really downplay the supply. Like, well, we were in a pandemic. It's funny she says were. There's more people with COVID right now than a year ago before we had the vaccine. When there was 0% of people vaccinated, there's now like 3 times the amount of people with COVID right now.
But how could that be with
with
the vaccine? How could that be?
And
so much
also
spin.
what she's doing
Absolutely.
is like Google what gas prices were 2 years ago today. See if it comes up. Because what they're ignoring is that gas prices are higher than 2 years ago before COVID was even a thing. But also on top of that.
Oh man. These prices, I'm envious of these prices, dude.
I know.
$2? Holy
Look
shit.
at even in 2018. I mean, it was America was finally energy independent. They were finally energy indendent.
What is it right now?
I think it's like 350. Basically, is like the
320.
average.
Yeah.
But what she's acting like, well, people weren't home, so they weren't consuming. The biggest issue is food. The people sitting at home were definitely still eating. In fact, we're in the middle of a pandemic that's supposedly killing everybody. If anything, for food, our demand is down. It should be down if everyone's dying, but at the very least, it's.
Oh yeah, no shit.
I mean, what's the let's say population increase 1%. You expect food to have a 1% increase in demand. What's happening is the demand is the exact same, but the supply is so much lower.
Right, exactly. We're having huge supply problems. That's why the price. That's why the price is going way up. Okay, on everything, and shipping problems.
And it's so easy. You have Paul Krugman, who is an economist that's terrible. He's like the one economist that basically like Democrats love to go and quote. So you got this one guy, and probably he's got a couple other little guys that mimic him. But then the New York Times could run something and say, experts say that this is good for the economy.
Right.
And it's transitory.
Right.
And they'll say experts. And you're like, well, which experts? Because a lot of experts say the exact opposite.
Yeah. I mean, even she did that at the beginning of this. She goes, yeah, you'll talk to economists and they'll tell you inflation's going to go down. It's like, pick and choose which ones you like.
Yeah. Ask Paul Krugman.
Right.
But don't ask any other economists.
Right. Well, should we listen to the last minute of this?
Sure.
Every single day. But there's different issues in different sectors, and many of the ones you mentioned.
Well, Chief of Staff Ron Klain, back when he was a private citizen in 2018 on Twitter, he went after the Trump White House for efforts to dismiss rising prices. Klain asked if Vice President Pence would do what then Commerce Secretary Ross did and, quote, hold up a Campbell's soup can and argue that price increases for basic food items really don't hurt the middle class, unquote. There are a lot of people out there who might say,
hang on, is this the same guy who made that claim that they're talking about? You know what I mean?
I had no idea.
So this Ronald Klain, whoever he is, he said, will they say that rising food prices is good for the middle class? Well, that's what you're saying, Jen. You know, they're making that claim right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's basically daring Trump to do the same thing.
Right. And saying, would Trump have? Corporations raping the consumer right now using the COVID as an excuse.
Not only are they using it as an excuse, the big ones, the big corporations, FANG, all of them, they are pushing this because it's helping them so much. I keep beating this to death, and I know it, but Walmart wants you to stay home. And they want little mom and pops to be closed. And they want you to have to put $1 million air filtration center system on your building to be able to have people in because they're the only ones that can afford it.
Right. That's why they lobby and make the laws
going
like
anywhere. That. Yeah. And so whenever you hear about government looking at stuff and Facebook saying we need more regulations, even we know that. They don't care. They just want more regulations so they never have anyone try to rise up against them is what this is. And they're trying to kill competition.
And they're doing very well at that.
Yeah,
they're good. They did a great job.
How they try to say that rising inflation is a high class problem, but it's not. It's a middle and low class. It's the same thing happening with businesses. Middle and small businesses are getting destroyed while big businesses are having the best year they've ever had in their existence.
Well, you remember at the beginning of this nonsense when they said you can't go to a mom and pop grocery store, closed all the small businesses, but you can go to Walmart in the hundreds. Is that still going on? Is that still the rules in these fucking cities?
I don't know.
Thank God I live in a red state where we're done with this nonsense.
But as long as Walmart and Target lock all their doors but one. So you have everyone funneling through one door and going through 2 checkout lanes. And as long as you have the plexiglass up, that now shows that increases the amount of COVID people get.
Yeah. Meat packers reduced their labor during COVID and never increased it back up so they make all the money. The cattle farmers aren't making any money. Restaurants aren't with record high beef prices, but they're making more money than ever.
I think
things like that are happening in like every industry. You know?
I do get a cow butchered. I get a half a cow. I split with my brother. We get one about one a year, and they do charge. They're charging way more now. Yeah. We're not doing it again because they charge so much more this time than the last time, and there's no shortage of cows.
It's not a good sign.
We found a cow really fast, really easy.
Yeah, but it's not a good sign.
If you're a butcher and you're the bottleneck and you're thinking, I could go and butcher, I'm making these numbers up, 100 cows this week, or I could go home, I could stay home and butcher 30 and get paid the same. I'm going to butcher 30.
Yeah. Okay.
There are a lot of people out there who might say, well, why did Ron Klain think that rising prices was a serious concern under Trump but not under Biden?
It is the same guy.
I can tell you from sitting in a lot of meetings with Ron Klain day in and day out, he is obsessed with lowering costs for the American people, and that's driven from the president.
But why? Isn't raising costs good, Jen? Didn't you just say it's a sign of a recovering economy that the price of food is going up? So why does this guy want it lowered?
President. And how we're approaching that is we're trying to increase competition in the agricultural sector. We're working to get ports.
Oh, good. The government's trying to increase competition. Okay, I'm done watching that. It just pisses me off too much.
You know, this is Peter Schiff's time to shine because he's been calling this forever. You know, it's Dr. Doom. He's been calling this forever. He's almost like the conspiracy theorist that was saying, they're not going to let you leave your house, and they're going to make you have a vaccine passport to get on a plane and fly. Next thing you know, it's like it's true. Yeah. He's been saying this forever. And if you really want to know what's going on, this is the time to read Peter Schiff stuff.
Because he talks about skyrocketing inflation?
Absolutely. He's been calling this for years. He's basically saying, it's coming. It's coming.
I think he's right. We're in a huge fiat bubble anyway, and that's before COVID. Yeah. Honestly, before COVID, before the supply chain shit, I would have agreed with him that here comes massive inflation. Look how much money we've been printing for the last 10 years.
Yeah. He also says Bitcoin's going to $0. So he's kind of
I don't know if I agree with that.
Saying that. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I could believe that too, though, because I just don't understand it. But Bitcoin's over 60,000 right now.
I did see.
The last 2 weeks, it's skyrocketed up.
It's a good. I would say it's a good sign, but it seemed to for a while uncouple with the stock market, which I think has got to do because there's no way the stock market's not going to plummet. There's no way that we're not in the biggest bubble we've seen since the housing crisis and stuff.
Well, dude, it's up to almost 63,000, which it must just be flying up right now. If Dems say inflation isn't a problem, it's the opposite.
It's so funny because Jake Tapper's pointing out it was a big problem under Trump where we had a fraction of the inflation that we have right now.
Oh, that was a horrible problem then.
But now this is different because this is Biden inflation.
Right, now it's good. Now it's super good.
While we're on the topic of CNN, you could play the clip from the ex-New York Times editor.
Okay, yeah.
She makes a good point here.
Let me see here.
God,
we got to show this shit.
Craziness
too. Here, while we just go
for
across
DTD,
it. Yeah. Here's the zoo.
Do you know where this would make sense? Is if this vaccine stopped people
COVID?
and animals from actually, because you remember there's a time where Fauci said, if you get 2 doses of vaccines, you are a dead end for this virus. You just need to get your 2 doses and you are
which
dead
was
end.
A complete lie.
We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie. He knew it was back then. But that's where it wouldn't make sense to start vaccinating some zoo animals because it's around people.
To vaccinate all the skunks.
Yeah, but now, unless you're just worried about the skunk dying, what's the point?
No shit.
Because with an animal, you really don't care about the side effects.
They definitely shouldn't be vaccinating young, healthy skunks. They should only vaccinate elderly and extremely obese skunks.
You don't really care about the side effects, even if it's 1% die, which it's not. Even if it's 1% die, you don't give a shit. You just give it to the herd. The ones that die, you move on because it's a skunk and you don't care. But it's not stopping that skunk from giving it to somebody else.
No shit. That skunk will still spread it and get it. You know what? The skunk should still have to wear masks. That's my stance on that.
Distance.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the trees to be vaxxed. This person says.
You know what's scary about this? This is almost setting the precedence of we can't vaccinate all the animals. So we're going to have to genetically modify mosquitoes, and we're going to release mosquitoes out.
Well, I'm sure the weirdos want to do that. I know that they did that in Florida recently,
we're going to block out the sun with some dirt.
Yeah. Leave it to Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Also known as Bill Gates, to do all this weird mad scientist shit.
Yeah, DZD, you're right. They are.
But anyway, all these people are taking skunk vaccine in America, Garrett. Why are you taking skunk vaccine?
You're not a skunk. Don't take this vaccine.
Oh, here's this. Okay.
It's kind of on topic, but not really. It's just funny because she's preaching
She does a good job, though.
She's preaching to the biggest offender of this. There's nobody worse than this fucking potato
basically,
that we're going to show.
Yeah, and basically she just goes on here and says, look, the world's going insane. Here's some reasons why.
He'll explain who this lady is. But
writer and editor Barry Weiss left her post at the New York Times last year, saying it was an illiberal environment, a culture where journalistic curiosity could not be pursued.
You pause it real
1 year
quick.
later.
Sure.
He used that term illiberal. Well, she did. And she's right. For true liberals, the classical liberal, a lot of what's happening is very anti-liberal. Liberals all used to be about resist. They used to be about free speech.
Yes.
And obviously this is all for true illiberal. But now, just like how the definition of a male has changed, the definition of liberal is way different than it used to be.
They're authoritarian psychos now. Stelter has had a rough week between Rogan and this lady. I don't
and by looking like a 50-year-old potato. He looks like he's 60 years old. He's in his 30s. I'm pretty sure we might have to Google his age.
I think you're right about that, but
dude,
what happened with Rogan and this guy?
Oh, well, Rogan was kind of thrashing him, saying he was the one that was basically saying with glee that Rogan was taking horse dewormer.
Yeah, I'm sure
people
was.
wanted Rogan to die. The cult of COVID really does need some human sacrifice and they were hoping Rogan
Right,
was
and
gonna
they
be
keep
the big
not
human
getting
check.
it either because they're so wrong.
Yep. And then
that-
it turns
that they don't
into,
get what they
well,
want.
Rogan's secretly vaccinated. Look, he performed in New York when it means nothing.
Yeah, he is an evil little fuck. Yeah, all these people are. But one more good thing, which we've said over and over on the show, is the massive decline in ratings for these pieces of shit. And this guy's show is way down.
Pendulum
Nobody's
is
watching this
swinging.
douchebag. Yeah.
The pendulum's swinging hard already. We just have to. If Pendulum wasn't swinging, and like the Dems were going to pick up House and Senate
I'd be
seats,
real worried.
I would think that for real, the U.S. would break up. I do. I think it's that point. But
God,
why would the
awesome.
red states leave right now when they're going to get the House and the Senate, and they already got the Supreme Court, and they're probably getting the presidency, and that they're a lame duck presidency?
Absolutely.
So it's
I'm,
kind of
I'm so
pointless
sure
for-
Republicans are
Yeah,
winning
it's
next.
pointless for the right to leave right now.
Although it would be nice just to get rid of our blue neighbors.
That'd be awesome.
They
I'd
they
fucking love
go live in your dystopian shitholes and leave us alone.
Yeah. How's California and New York? And how's that working out?
Yeah,
How's
yeah.
the homeless problem? How's
Right.
the stealing problem? You're not closing down stores because you won't arrest shoplifters.
Speaking of that, like Walgreens or someone's leaving San Francisco. Did you see that? Like
they're racist.
some major show.
They are
Oh yeah, they're
fucking
racist then.
racist.
Yeah. We still have McConnell running the Senate. That fuckstick.
Did you guys see that they're talking now about Nancy Pelosi maybe stepping down as the House Speaker?
That's shocking. Actually,
I think it's she knows the House is fucked, and she's not going to
just
bother being the
abandoning
minority.
ship. What does she
Abandoning
care?
ship.
She's 85. She
And
might as
she's
well go
made
down with it.
hundreds of millions by insider trading and
Right.
stuff.
She's
Yeah.
the best inside trader there is.
Yeah. So when you hear people say like, "Oh, people are karma's coming. People are gonna get what's coming to them," no, she's gonna be an old evil hag and die super rich.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing. I want the blue states, they can wear their masks and hide in their basement and fucking leave me alone. That's why I want to split the country.
Yes.
She has launched a publication.
Pause real quick. How old does he look?
He looks late 40s.
And how much like a potato does he look? Google his age real quick.
All right.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's in his 40s. But I thought I saw something like shockingly young.
Brian Stelter. 36?
Holy shit!
I'm older than this guy?
Holy shit!
God, you know what? Being an evil worm ages you. I believe it. Like, I'll bet you.
Look at that car salesman smile too.
You know what? When we talked about testosterone that time, and it showed that
What do you think his is?
liberal soy boy men have low testosterone. I bet this dude has
He's
zero
got
testosterone.
none.
No, just a
look at the guy.
soft-bodied potato
Yeah.
head.
You can just tell that he's got no muscle tone, and that's basically how many bowls of ice cream does this guy eat in a day?
A lot.
Yeah.
Maybe-
36 though. He definitely looks older than 36, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, he looks way older.
And this is him.
He
This
looks
is
like
them.
shit.
He's got professionals doing makeup every day before
Yeah.
it goes on, and they got the lighting figured out, and they got the camera angles figured out, and he still looks like this.
Yeah. What a gross piece of shit.
Jeez.
Maybe she will develop a wasting disease and slowly wither away. Dude, I think Nancy must have several wasting diseases already. She looks like she's melting. Where's a bra, I bet, from the man boobies? Oh, for sure. That's called a bro, Kenobi. He's wearing a bro. Okay, let's go back to the video of it. Here it is.
Substack. She says she has over 100,000 subscribers, some of whom are already paying, even though all the content is still free. She says it's an escape from the madness of traditional media. And here is what she meant by that.
36!
You write, there are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what...
Okay, so I want to just pause it and say, like, that's a really true sentence.
I wish he went one further.
Yeah, I know. Science is at the mercy of politics.
Because that's why when people say you're not following the science, well, I'm not following your cherry-picked bullshit science.
Yeah,
if that's what you're asking.
Right. Your science.
The same science that told us sugar is good for you and fat is bad and the same
Right.
science that tried to say you needed fucking 14 servings of carbs in a day and to avoid any fats, the same science that thought like dairy needed its own food pyramid.
Right. Let me read the rest of this too, because it's good. Identity trumps ideas. In the name of progress, art is erased and history is rewritten. Obvious truths are dangerous to say out loud.
They are. I mean, you're going to get canceled.
Oh, yeah.
For pointing out that
we've been banned from YouTube several times for saying obvious truths.
But look at Chappelle. He basically said trans men or trans females, I guess, are females in women face. If a normal person says that, they are done. You can't even say that from male to female transition garners a huge advantage in sports. You can't even say that, even though science shows it.
You can't even say that you wouldn't sleep with a trans female, however you say it.
You wouldn't sleep with a person with a penis.
Yeah, you have to have sex with whomever we say. Otherwise, you're a bigot.
And you can't even ask if one of the world's biggest superpowers that was having its hardest time ever and needed the eyes off it because it's getting caught with modern day concentration camps and genocide and the shit going on in Taiwan, and they were getting their asses kicked by the tariffs and everything. They were a sinking country, and you came in and ask if this virus that came from them was made in a lab because you're racist if you do, even though every sign points to it. And Fauci and the high ups knew that this probably came from the lab, but you can't question it unless you're
you can't bring that up. Can't say anything about that. You might be called racist.
Because that's what science is about. Science is about caring if you're a racist or not.
Right. You can't say that maybe biological males shouldn't MMA fight with women because we're just in la crazy land, And their largest real estate company is going to default.
And their second largest.
Oh, and is this China?
Yeah. And their second largest is starting to.
Well, good thing a worldwide virus happened.
You know who's going to eat a turd sandwich of this is Canada, because it is insane. The house prices in Canada right now, it's worse than what happened in the U.S. when the U.S. market collapsed.
Really?
Canada is going to eat a giant turd sandwich pretty soon when it comes to that.
Well, it's not because they don't deserve it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Fucking idiots.
And we're not talking about Canadians deserve that pain. It's that their piece of shit government is making everything worse.
Right. And the people are not standing against their government enough, in my opinion. Although I understand when that's
we haven't
not
even finished
doable.
that. We haven't started that.
Oh, no, we haven't even started it. But I wanted to look up what Kenobi said here. Evergrande. Default looms over more property as China reassures investors. Oh, I'm sure China's going, no, things are fine.
Yeah. But it is kind of funny because when the market really dipped, they tried to point at this and say, no, it's not Biden, and it's Evergrande. But yeah, their second biggest now too is basically in a lot of trouble.
Why is it that a thing like China reassures investors on Evergrande just makes me think like if I had any Evergrande, I would be selling it. You know what I mean? Like any kind of like the government says everything's fine makes me go, oh shit is about to hit the fan.
Genocide and just murdering people.
Right.
They're truthful in this one.
Yeah, they say don't worry about anything.
Even though they're going to be in a world of hurt when this comes crashing down. Believe them.
Yeah. I'm sure they're on
so
the
in
up
what
and up.
ways has the world gone mad?
Well,
how much time you got, Brian?
We have the chief reporter on the beat.
Well, since he's only 37, you'd think you'd have 66 years, but looking at him, you know that's not the case. There's something interesting about that. No, I'm getting off topic, but you kind of have your biological age and you have your chronological age. So he's 37. I'm 37. I'm a young guy, but look at him and you're not 37. You're way older. There's a lot of science in that. They've looked at one of the things to do with aging. There's a lot of mysteries in aging. One of them is telomere length. So people that don't know, basically on DNA, individual strands, you have telomeres on the end of it. And the telomeres basically has junk DNA because every time it divides, it breaks off a piece that it makes it a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. So you have a bunch of doesn't really matter DNA there. So when it starts eating into it, you don't want it to eat into your way to make protein to C or protein for collagen, whatever it is. You have junk DNA. But they could they're doing a new thing where they could tell how long your telomere length is. And they've done experiments where they'll have like 20 people and they'll have a observer come and say, tell me the age of these 20 people, how they look. And then they've done their telomeres. And they put the telomere length in order. And telomere length was a better, they basically had 100% correlation between how old you look and how long your telomeres are.
Weird.
Chronological
That's interesting.
age meant not much.
Huh.
So Stelter, when we say this guy looks like he's pushing 80, his telomeres are way shorter
than they should be.
A 60-year-old that looks like he's 30.
I see. I got you. Yeah.
Well, that's a aside. But
well, this soy boy has short telomeres.
Yes, he does.
Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist. The world has gone mad.
You can't. Well.
When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. When we're not allowed to acknowledge.
You know, she took a risk saying that.
Absolutely. There. Hey, why didn't CNN have a little graphic for that? They could have had Fallon Fox breaking the orbital of that female MMA fighter who had no idea that was a male transition she was fighting.
Taking a knee to the face, smashing her skull.
Yeah, almost killing. Why'd they use that?
Why didn't they have a fact check pop up and say, we don't support hate speech?
Yeah, come on, Stelter.
Yeah.
That rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence. The world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing.
Stop real quick. So they showed the first point she made. They showed the Hunter Biden. They left out
the riots,
Fallon Fox breaking someone's orbital, and they left out Antifa
burning cities down,
cops in, and throwing Molotov cocktails and starting police stations on fire with cops inside. Come on, CNN. What's wrong? You're going to find a graphic for those?
People in the back of the head. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find a graphic?
Yeah.
The world has gone mad. When, in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race. And that is called progress rather than segregation. The world has gone mad.
Okay, and I make this point a lot, but I just want to say, every bad thing she's bringing up, which she's right about, is because of the left. It is because of Democrats and liberals. That's who's doing all this stupid shit.
The party of science.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the Hunter Biden laptop thing, fuck whatever that gremlin's name is. He should have released that.
Giuliani?
He should have released that right after Biden was called the nominee if he was worried about being too soon or whatever. But fuck the media they blacked out and said, we just know it's not true. Well, it turns out it's true. Yeah. It's true. They know this now, but they still won't go back and admit it. They had reporters on Twitter going, you stupid Q believers. Don't you think if this was true, we would be all over it because we're the first ones to prove it. We would be famous, you stupid Q. Well, you're lying to us, you goddamn potato Stelter.
Yeah.
There are dozens of examples that I could share with you and with your viewers.
And you often say,
everyone
allowed.
Sort of knows this, and
you say we're not allowed, we're not able. Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
Editors, yada yada.
I think it's funny to have him say. Well, we got to let her answer that, but I just like that he's like, who's stopping the conversation? Who is doing that? Well, you only have to look in a mirror, dude. Yeah.
In his earpiece, he's like, don't say that name. Don't show a graphic for Fallon Fox. My God. Exactly. God, Brian, what are you doing?
Brian, we're going to have to fire you now. You shouldn't have brought her on here.
People that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now, who try and claim that,
Look at that face.
Oh, my God.
Really? Is it us? Yeah, it's fucking you.
What?
Morons. CNN is the worst. Face. They had dirt on him, too. He fucked up that release on purpose. Oh, Giuliani? I'll bet you're right. He was probably in on it the whole time.
He's disbarred. And God, I hate that fucking face.
Yeah, so do I. He really is like, what? Us?
Us?
No.
It was racist to investigate the lab leak theory. It was.
But
I mean,
who
let's
said
just
that
take
at
an
CNN?
example.
But I'm just saying that when you say allowed, I just think it's a provocative thing you say. You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet. I can Google them. I can find them everywhere. I've heard about.
Oh yeah, do you
story.
report it? I wish you would say, did you report prior to the election? Did you report Hunter Biden's laptop? Did you show him naked pictures with him and underage girls?
Right, got no coverage on CNN.
None. Did you show Ashley Biden's journal where she talks about being forced to take showers with Joe Biden? Did you show that?
Yeah, and accuses him of molesting.
You're the problem.
God, he's a slimy little fuck. If I had the opportunity, I think I would slap him. Yeah.
Well, you'd be punching down. Let's put it that way.
You better use an open hand just for fairness, But, he makes the point that they always make. If I say something like, dude, I can't even talk about vaccines, I'll get banned. People say, oh, I can hear it everywhere. Everyone talks about that.
They're doing it right now to Chappelle. And they're using Chappelle they're using that as yeah, you can. Look at Chappelle. He made $1 million doing it. Yeah, because he can't be canceled.
Right.
But the fucking guy that owns a pizzeria or that's working at the pharmacy, those guys can be canceled, and they don't have the emergency fund to fall back on.
Right. Just because your censorship and your authoritarian
doesn't
bullshit,
reach far enough.
Yeah, because you're not as powerful as you wish you were. Some of this information is able to get out. The truth is able to fight. Yes. But if you had your way, we wouldn't be able to say anything. So I just wanted to make that point.
It's a great point. It's an important one.
And they all say that too. I hear that everywhere.
I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
Bullshit.
But you and I both know, and it would be delusional to claim otherwise, that touching your finger to an increasing number of subjects that have been deemed third rail by the mainstream institutions and increasingly by some of the tech companies will lead to reputational damage, perhaps you losing your job, your children sometimes being demonized as well. And so what happens is a kind of internal self-censorship. This is something that I saw over and over again when I was at the New York Times. People saying to themselves, you know what?
Pause it real quick.
Why should I die on that?
So they obviously...
Why?
Okay, yeah.
They knew the script before they had her on. They had the graphics ready. I'm going to try giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, is that he's doing the whole, devil's advocate thing. Who does that real well? It's oh God. But there's other people that are like, what? How could you say that? He's probably not. But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. There's a chance.
Setting her up for a good answer, kind of? Well, she knocked it out of the park with her answer there, I thought.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Chappelle lives in a town of 3,300 people in Ohio. I had no idea. He lives in a small town. He don't give a shit. Yeah, he's a multimillionaire. He's down. Legacy's down as one of the funniest guys to ever live. And he even has that tweet basically saying, this is what canceled is. It's great. Fuck CNN. Fuck NBC.
Yeah, I love that, dude.
He's are saying fuck the people. Yeah.
But the real studs of the world will stand up against that kind of and be like, fine, cancel me. It's just like when Tom Brady didn't wear a mask walking out to the, I think, Super Bowl. And he didn't wear a mask, and everyone was like, oh, he could have, cancel Tom Brady. But he doesn't give a shit.
God, they've tried so much because he's a MAGA guy. They've tried so much.
Yeah.
But he's the greatest ever.
Yeah, he's
and it's
untouchable.
Kind of funny. They try to act like them partying on a boat outside, which science says is fine, everything. They act like, look at this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then they had them throwing the trophy that they won.
I love that.
And they tried to bring it up like the granddaughter of the guy that designed it. And she tried to act like they're shitting all over his grave. Nobody gives a shit about the fucking guy.
Yeah,
he was paid to produce this thing. They can do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yeah, that's his trophy. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with the trophy. And throwing it throwing into that boat. That was an awesome video.
It's media grasping.
Yeah.
Did you see the year before where Gronk used it like a baseball bat and hit a ball baseball?
I did. Dude, we got to just show.
Those are awesome.
Throws trophy from boat. We can just show it again.
They said Stanley Cup on that autofill. God damn. Good.
I actually love this video though.
Yeah, it's great. You got to find the Gronk one next.
Here. Oh man. Oh, wow.
I like the video better from the perspective of the boat
I know.
that's catching it.
You know, he's 44 and he's the best quarterback in football still.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Let's see if we can find the real video where they're, because it shows them on the boat celebrating shit. It's so much better.
This one here, right?
No, it's actually not this one either. This one's better though.
I like that because you just see his reaction.
That's
his daughter's yelling at him.
That's awesome that he did that, dude.
I know.
I love his little girl yelling,
Yeah.
"Dad, no!" Yeah. Brady was.
You
fucking
to carry
shit-faced,
him
too.
off. He's just
See,
that
and
had to
this
feel-
was recent when COVID was going on, and like he was partying, and the media was trying to say, "Why aren't you at home wearing a mask in your basement?"
You know, we're not a sports show, but they were trying to say that Brady's greatness was due to his coach, Bill Belichick. And so he went to one of the worst teams in football. And the first year,
Won a Super Bowl
Patriots basically are almost last, and he wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That is obviously his best Super Bowl to win. Like, there's no way that feeling that he had on that
Yeah.
could have been touched by any of the other Super Bowls.
Shut up, the haters.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Brady's the best.
Yeah.
We've gone an hour, Garrett.
I know. We didn't even get to Brian Laundrie.
I know. I wanted to cover the Brian Laundrie stuff.
I know. Do you want to tease him with it? Tease him with that one right there.
New system too, so people can't say it was a system thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
All right, so yeah, let's tease them with the Brian Laundrie theory. Here's what it is. This is Brian.
So nobody knows what Brian Laundrie is. FBI and everything has no idea.
Yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter says, "Don't worry, I'll find him." Everyone shits on Dog, says, "Stay home, you fucking idiot." Dog supposedly gets really close to finding him.
Dog the Bounty Hunter's on the case.
So he disappeared.
He strangled his girlfriend, Gabby Petito, looks like, and now he's on the run.
They were looking in the Everglades. He accidentally, do you know this? He went live, they think accidentally, for like a second on Instagram. And it was just a picture
No.
of water.
No way.
And it was like this. And then someone shut it off right away. And they instantly stopped looking at the Everglades and changed where they were searching.
That's really weird.
Yes. So that's a weird.
I didn't know that.
too.
I haven't been
Yeah.
following it too much.
Yeah.
But I
And
did see
then-
this on TikTok.
These guys are basically just being hounded by the media. And
Yeah.
not even media, the public, I'll say. These guys are hounded by the public. And they were flying a drone over these guys gardening. And so people have noticed some weird stuff here.
Right. So
For
this
one,
is
look at the box up north on this.
what, this white thing?
I don't know what gardening and stuff. I don't know what the hell that is.
I don't either.
Okay, but just keep paying attention to it. Don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to the mom here.
Oh, so that already happened here.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what they
watch her
say.
hand.
Yeah, this is Brian Laundrie's mom. Dude, something does move.
I know. Like right there. So the conspiracy theorists are saying that's a hand.
Yeah, a hand
There's
reaches up
somebody
and she
under there.
hands
It is a
hands
little
at something.
weird. I mean, they got this gardening box with nothing growing in it. Like
Yeah,
there's
it
nothing
looks like
growing.
brand new, you know.
And then we see some movement, and it looks like she interacts with it.
Yeah, it really does look like that. And then they notice a drone is
Look
watching
a
them.
little bit guilty when they see this drone.
Yeah, and he points out and they walk off. Dude, this is weird, okay?
Very.
Especially because you can actually see something kind of pop up and then
Yes.
go away here. What the fuck?
And they look like kids caught with their hands in the cookie
Yeah,
jar.
yeah. Okay, so the theory is he's in a bunker underneath their garden there.
That's why they can't find them.
But also, like, I just think, what a dumb way to hand things off to each other. Like, wouldn't it be easier way than that?
If there's a bunker, unless I guess they don't, maybe the bunker is that entrance there. There's not an entrance in the house, and you don't
Yeah.
want to be going and open up a hatch, and he needs something, I guess. Boy, it's his
Somehow
life.
it's
He's
quicker.
fucked, though. What's he going to do? Live in a bunker?
Yeah,
forever?
well, that's what he gets for strangling his girlfriend.
yeah.
Video
He
of
obviously
Roberta.
looks super guilty.
Okay, now let's show this because, dude, this thing makes me go, what? This really
Handing
might be a
something
bunker.
down to-
Okay, so you see this?
Yep.
Hang on, let me find the video, the part where she shows the graphic.
Video of Roberta handing something down to a hand in one of these flower beds. Look at this really quick. Okay, you see with the shed, you see this white little box thing. I don't know, in their yard. And then the flower beds. Okay, wait. Hear me out.
Okay, you see this? So this is from Build a Bunker website in Florida company. And this is their design. It's got the shed, the bunker underneath, and then it's got like a flower bed thing sitting there, which is pretty much exactly the setup of their backyard.
It looks very similar.
The shed it's the same kind of shed.
Literally Google Florida underground bunkers, and this is literally one of like the floor plans of it, connected to a shed, random little pot of plant on that little square thing. I mean, come on. It literally looks like it. Do I think the flower bed theory is whack? Yes. But this
makes it.
What?
Look at that shed, dude.
You know what? We put the Britney Spears, I even said when I did it, I put it in, this is happening, this is very plausible. And it turned out it's true. We were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
We talked about let's say the aliens that were dressed like humans shopping in Vegas. I think we put that in the bullshit pile. Yeah. This one I'm putting in a possibility.
Me too.
Pile. There's a possibility to this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too shocked if they ended up finding him at home.
I know. I wouldn't. They're going to find him in a bunker in a backyard underneath the garden. Like, that wouldn't shock me at all. Did the FBI not search their home already for him? You know, the FBI is so busy.
Usually they say that. Usually they'll have, like, who was it recently? There was, who was it? There was a case. Oh, the lady that was in a cult that had her kids killed, that convinced that the end of times was coming. The moment the FBI went and started digging, it made live news. The guy that was in the house at the time learned about it because he had the news on. He's like, oh shit, they're reporting they're in my backyard digging. And he tried to book out of there. He tried to get in his car and won't leave. God, did you know that much, that story?
No, not really.
Super sad. It was kind of like a Kaylee Anthony thing, but even crazier. Some mom married a guy and her kids go missing. And the grandparents are like, where are the kids? She said, oh, don't worry. They're with friends. And they were dead the whole time.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was super. And they went to Hawaii and got caught there. And Hawaii basically says, you have a week to show us where your kids are. 1 week, or you're in contempt of court. And, of course, they didn't.
Yikes. The FBI searched the house. I don't think they searched the outbuildings, though. Like, why wouldn't they? I believe that. They just went and looked in his room. He's not in here. Let's go.
It'd be so easy to... And I'm guessing if you had something like that, it's almost like a panic room, and you're going to disguise it a little bit anyway. It would be so easy, I would think, to disguise that.
Yeah, but you also think the FBI searching the place would find it.
Know.
Yeah. Bunkers of that size cost about $40,000, and people in the neighborhood would have to see them moving the dirt.
Unless it was there already?
Unless they built it 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But that is a good point, as like probably they didn't just build it
since she died.
No.
Yeah,
they would have noticed that. Yeah. But one thing about the FBI searching the house, the they're pretty good at like one thing, and that's staging domestic terrorist events in the United States. We can't count on them to actually solve murders or things like that, if you ask me.
I mean, it looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter was beating the
get Dog the
FBI
Bounty Hunter on the case.
Did you see where he was trying to flush him out with like he had a plane? He thought he had him on like this little island, so he had a plane circling it with a banner that read something like "Brian Laundrie, I'm coming for you, dog."
He
type
did.
of thing. Yeah, and I thought it was like gonna scare him out of hiding. Like a scared
Brian
rabbit.
just says, "Never mind, I'm over here. I surrender." If Dog's on the case, I'm
you
as
know
good
we're
as
in a
fuck.
simulation if Dog ends up finding him.
Handing something down to a hand.
Oh man. Well,
all right, we're over.
Yeah.
Bad news. We can't go Thursday. Let's maybe try doing a weekend show.
Yeah.
We have Project Bluebeam we need to go through. I got like 3 conspiracies. I've completely got cooked. I've got the Dogon tribe knowing the Sirius star was basically a binary star because they claim they came from there. I've got 2 kids that were killed and laid on train tracks that autopsy tried to say that they had 100
we've been talking about that for a while.
100 marijuana joints.
Right.
And that they got too high and fell asleep on the train tracks. I've also got, what else do I got? I got, an alien that supposedly was staying at the Pentagon. So it's pretty good. I got some cool ones.
Heck yeah. I think a weekend show sounds good, man.
A bunker was never mentioned. That would be a big selling point, and it would increase the cost of the house. Interesting.
Yep. Very possible he's not in a bunker.
Yeah, I think if I was betting, and if you gave me 4-1 odds to say no, I'd take the no.
But it is a fun theory anyway.
Yeah.
The old bunker under the house theory.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, maybe we'll shoot for a weekend show since we can't go live Thursday.
Doing it. Bagels, nice to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Ken.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. If we don't see you guys this weekend, we'll see you guys next Monday. But I think there's a good chance we do a weekend show this weekend.
Yep. All right, everybody. Fun show.
See ya.
Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educate and entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens.